Early voting starts next week for the Texas primary runoff elections that will decide who is on the ballot for several big races in November. President Trump is also going to speak at his American Freedom Tour in Austin today, 10 days ahead of the Texas runoff. He has endorsed several candidates from the state, including our very next guest here. Joining us now is Texas Attorney General. There he is, Ken Paxton. Mr. Attorney General, you were endorsed, of course, by President Trump. Everybody was vying for it. How much do you think that has boosted your race? We saw the effect, of course, in Ohio with J.D. Vance. It helped him tremendously. Are you expecting for the same thing?
Yeah, I think it's tremendously helpful. We were leading in the polls before the endorsement, but certainly having the endorsement of the President Trump, every Republican covets it. It makes a significant difference in the race, and it gives your voters confidence that the person running has the support of a president that did a lot of really good things for America.
How big of a deal, too, that he's going to be obviously in Texas? I mean, he's already there. He's done a couple fundraisers, but with the big event in Austin, how important of a message is that, especially with the border issues right now?
Yeah, so I think it's great that he's coming here, given that our current president doesn't come here. He doesn't have an interest in the border. I think the timing for the president is also significant, that it is right before the primary. He's going to obviously continue to support the candidates in Texas that he's behind, which, he has many favorites that he's supporting in different races. But I also think the fact that he continues to come to Texas, talk about the border, highlight the border, keeps the border in the news and helps us focus on what's not happening along the border with the current president.
It is astounding, Ken, the fact that the current president hasn't been to the border. And, with the issue of Title 42, of course, that's expected to end, in less than 2 weeks. I mean, that's right around the corner. It's May 23rd. I want to show a couple numbers. You know these numbers all too well, but recent numbers from Customs and Border Protection show the number of apprehensions and gotaways, because that's obviously a big one, in certain sectors in Texas. In Del Rio, that's a big one. The Rio Grande Valley, more than 42,000 apprehensions. El Paso, more than 30,000. And the list just goes on. What are some of the things that you think your state can do? And do you think that Title 42 is going to be lifted soon?
Yeah, so what my state is doing, the governor obviously has spent a lot of time and money, and our legislature as well, supporting more of our state police along the border, trying to help Border Patrol, trying to stop others that are coming across illegally in different ways. However, Title 42 is a significant pillar in keeping people out. It's the only thing left that the Biden administration hasn't taken away. The results from just what they've done, whether it's remain in Mexico or ending the catch and release, obviously the numbers are unlike any numbers we've ever seen coming across the border. If they take Title 42 away, the numbers are just going to go up more. And the cartels know this, that they're in business to make money, and the Biden administration has signaled from the beginning to them, get people to the Border Patrol. You don't have to run from us. Just turn yourself in and we'll take care of the rest. It's a handoff at the border. It's like nothing we've ever seen. And we need to continue to fight in court to stop what's going on with the Biden administration, which is completely illegal.
Yeah, it is amazing to see that they have, been pushing to get it lifted. One of the things I contend, Ken, is that fentanyl could actually be a reason, because fentanyl, even if they're going to do the health reason, which was the reason that 42 was put in there originally, obviously for COVID, but use it for fentanyl, because fentanyl is skyrocketing. The problems. There was a historic number of overdose deaths last year in the United States, close to 108,000. That is an all-time high. They could certainly find a reason to keep Title 42 in place just for that. They are giving the cartels so much money, and they're bringing in, sadly, this toxic chemical that's killing so many Americans.
Yeah, and you're right. The numbers are up over 30% in 1 year. If you just cared about what happened to the American people, because you're talking about people dying, you might keep 42 in place just for that. That it clearly is not their highest priority. And the reality here is the Border Patrol is so busy processing now all these people the cartels are bringing. Cartels know they can run drugs pretty much uninhibited across the border. And so the Biden administration knows that as well, and lets it go, and certainly seem to be okay with it as it relates to other policies being more important. So Look, I think you're right about Title 42. I'd never thought about it as related to fentanyl, but I think that's actually an excellent reason for keeping Title 42 in place.
Absolutely. Do you think that it is going to be lifted? What's your gut? Because that deadline's coming up pretty soon.
So right now there's an injunction. There's several other states. Texas has its own lawsuit. We're fighting this in court. We believe that we're going to stop it because the president has not done this the correct way. He's not followed the law. Of course, that's true in all of these lawsuits. We're fighting him on the law. He doesn't worry about the law. So I do think if the courts will uphold the law, we have tools in the toolbox. We have federal laws the president is supposed to follow, including Title 42, that if they're upheld, they actually do make a difference. And I think we saw that when we went from Obama, who wasn't following the law, to Trump, who started following the law, then back to Biden. We can see what the numbers did. It's pretty clear what will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I wish you so much luck in your runoff coming up in the very near future. It's really great to have you here, Mr. Attorney General. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too, so much. And